There are so many benefits of living in Georgia compared to other states in the US, like home values, property taxes, and the growing economy in Metro Atlanta. Every month, more and more people are moving from overpopulated states like California or New York to one of the suburbs here in Georgia. But if you plan on buying a home here, there are a few things we do differently that you should be aware of. Stick around because in this video, we're going to talk about 5 things you need to know before buying a home in Georgia, including what it means for Georgia to be a buyer beware state and how to lower your property taxes. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? My name is Victor. I'm a local real estate agent here in Georgia, and I put out weekly videos all about what it's like to live in Atlanta, Georgia, and the surrounding cities. If you're thinking about moving to Atlanta or just want to know what it's like to live here, feel free to call or text me anytime. I'm more than happy to help. My favorite thing to do in the world is help people get acquainted with my hometown. With that being said, let's get right into the video. One of the first things you should be aware of is that in Georgia, we have tons of pine trees everywhere. If you want to live in an area where there is a lot of natural beauty or be surrounded by nature, then Georgia is the right place. But being surrounded by all these pine trees comes with a bit of a cost. Pine trees, unlike hickory or oak, are a softwood. In other words, they grow fast and the wood is not very dense, which means that they fall over pretty easily. It's not uncommon to hear about a pine tree falling on someone's home, especially after a storm. So if you do buy a home here in Georgia, you want to make sure that either the home does not have any pine trees close enough to fall on the house, or if the home does have nearby pine trees, make sure that they are removed before they can cause any damage. Another thing that comes with having so many pine trees is that during the spring we have a lot of pollen. Many people complain of having seasonal allergies, and these problems can be exacerbated by the pollen from the pine trees. The pollen here can get pretty bad, but it's nothing that some allergy meds can't take care of. Another thing to be aware of is the amount of demand for move-in ready homes. In many places around the country, the amount of homes that are available for sale is at an all-time low, and that's no different here in Georgia. While home prices in Georgia are relatively low, this does not mean that we don't have the same amount of housing demand. It's very common here in Georgia for move-in ready homes to have 10 to 20 offers in the first weekend of being on the market. If you're in the market for buying a home, there are a couple things you can do to try to help get ahead of the competition. First, it is absolutely imperative that you be pre-qualified before making an offer on a home. There are many different types of home loans, but the loan type that will give you the best advantage in a multiple offer situation is a conventional loan. Some other things that help get ahead of the competition are having short inspection periods, short financing contingency period, and offering to close when is most convenient for the seller. Okay, let's talk about what it means for Georgia to be a buyer beware state. And then after that, I'll tell you about how to lower your property taxes here in Georgia. Okay, so let's say you find your dream home here in Georgia and you have a home inspection and the seller provides a disclosure of any defects with the house, and after you decide that you're satisfied with the condition of the house, you close and you move in, and 3 months later you find out that the house has some kind of major structural problem. The seller legitimately didn't know about it and the inspector never found it because the structural problem was underground, let's just say. So the question is, who is responsible for this problem? And in Georgia, the answer is that the buyer is responsible. In other words, there is no recourse. In Georgia, it's the buyer's responsibility to inspect the house before buying. The seller still has to disclose of any problems that they know about, but are not responsible if they don't know about the problems. Okay, property taxes. One of the most important things that you should know about buying a home here in Georgia is that generally speaking, property taxes tend to be a little lower here than in other states. According to rocketmortgage.com, Georgia is 26th when it comes to property taxes. Some other states that have higher property taxes than good old GA are Texas, New Jersey, New York, and Ohio. The average rate for property taxes here in Georgia is 0.92% of the value of the home, compared to New York or New Jersey where it's closer to 2% of the value of the home. That means that for a $500,000 home in Georgia, taxes would be about $4,600. In New York, it would be closer to $10,000 for the year. If you still think your property taxes in Georgia are too high, great news, you can file for a homestead exemption. A homestead exemption reduces the amount of property taxes homeowners owe on their legal residence. You can file this in the county where your home is located, and in most counties is due by April 1st of the current tax year. Super important date, you really don't want to forget that, April 1st. Unless you are filing just after you buy the home, in which case April 1st is not the deadline. You can file soon after you buy the home or the closing date. And qualifying for a homestead exemption is super easy. As long as the home is your primary residence and you currently occupy the home, you're good to go. Just check on the county website or you can file in person, and once it goes into effect, you should see a pretty significant savings on your annual property tax bill. Another thing that would be super helpful before buying a home here in Georgia would be knowing which area is right for you. Click on this video over here to see which suburbs are the best in Metro Atlanta and which one might be right for you. See you in the next video.